Good morning, everybody. I'm just getting myself organized here. We're going to be doing fairy card readings this morning. And so, welcome to those of you who have visited me before on our Sunday mornings. And I do have a couple of announcements. First of all, I'm Catherine, and you are watching Fish Out of Water Tarot. And these readings are particularly for those who are shy, or maybe feel a little bit socially awkward and maybe a little lonely because it's hard to figure out how to connect. So if you can relate to that, you are welcome here. I will be giving away a couple of readings. Last week I did, and thankfully 2 people caught the little contest, and I was able to give 2 readings yesterday. So I'm going to be giving you the details on how it is you can win a free reading from me this week. So let me just get started. I will say that as we get started, you can expect a little barking. Graham, good morning. And good morning, good afternoon. That's right. I'm so glad you're here today. I've been coming at regular on Sundays at this hour, and love to see old friends coming into place. So thank you, Graham. So we're looking into the fairy cards today. They're just general messages. Good morning, Sandra. Welcome. Let me write you guys' name down. And you know what the routine is, that when you come aboard, thank you for letting me know you're here. I'm happy to pull a card for you. And luckily, for the people that can't come on live, all of the, oh, yay, our Fleming is back. Let me write your name. Because I have over 800 readings on my channel right now. Can you believe that, you guys? So there's a folder on there that will be, that is your astrological sign, and there are many readings there. And plus on the channel, do always check the community tab, because on the community tab, I share all kinds of resources, manifesting tips, that kind of thing, and other readings. Okay, so we're going to get started. First of all, let me just put my cards out here. Got them all shuffled, oops, upside down. And thank you. Okay, how's that looking? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is draw a card for the collective, for just the general tone of the reading. And if you guys have been coming back, whoops, sorry. If you've been coming back, you know that every week our lead card ends up being the theme card for almost everybody that's watching. Sipping my coffee here. That's my giant coffee mug. Let me turn it so it's hiding. Okay, so let's draw our card for the collective. What do the fairies have for us today? Oh, surprise, surprise, love life. Isn't that interesting? So it is true that I have high interest in people's love lives. I have been, I wonder if my light could be better here. Can you see that okay? I have been writing in the love and romance arena for many, many years. As a matter of fact, there's a blog that I have called Breakup Candy, breakupcandy.com. So if you have had any heartbreak, you can head on over to Breakup Candy and check it out. Because what I've discovered is that in every breakup, there's a little bit of sweet. There's something there that was positive. There is no way that you would have picked someone who was completely negative. But the problem is that when you find yourself with the wrong partner, something's happened that throws you off, that it can be very scary to get started again, because you can feel like, oh, I trusted, and then this terrible heartbreak happened. So therefore, somebody did something wrong. Hi, Shakti. But you know what? Nobody does anything wrong. The fact is that you, over the first 90 days that you are getting to know someone, that doesn't even count as a real relationship the first 90 days. And yet, if you're very careful, you can start to pick up signs that there's just a little bit too much compromising going on, okay? So, if those of you who are watching the call today that are watching for fairy energy, what I would say generally is that a little bit of playfulness is going to go a really long way. I like the fact that we have two children here. And it reminds me of the tarot card, the Six of Cups, where there's this reminiscing going on. So I feel like this could be a little bit of an issue if there's too much reminiscing, that you can look back to those first couple of relationships and you can sense that they were maybe even better than they were. Okay, so let's approach today's readings with our fairy cards with a lot of self reflection. What is it that you can do to incorporate more playfulness into your life? Okay, playfulness is almost as irresistible as self-confidence. When you're sure of yourself and you know that you are on the path of finding your true love. All right, so it does look like fairies want to talk about love today, so we are going to grant them that. Let me just set this over here. Okay, good deal. And I am going to turn this light on here because I just feel like we might need a little bit more light. Let me turn this one on. And I'm going to turn this one on. Thank you for being patient, you guys. Okay. I don't know if that makes that much difference, but there. Okay, now we're ready. So the first one here is Graham. Graham, welcome. I have to say that when you guys come back, and I haven't seen you for a while, I just am so grateful that that you're here visiting me. And the beauty of the internet, that even though we don't get to see one another or spend time actually looking eye to eye, that we share this energy together. So Graham, let's take a look and see what the fairies have for you today. Ah, I'm happy to have you. So this is a good one. Goodbye to the old, hello to the new. And again, following up on the idea of your love life, it just seems like there's a theme right now, and a lot of it has to do with family. It's not just falling in love. It's family love. It's also having friends, having the people that you enjoy spending time with. And so, in a way, I'm sensing that there's a part of you, Graham, that wants to there's a change. You don't even know for sure what the change is, but there's possibly some dissatisfaction that you're feeling, and you sense that there's something that's coming to an end. Now, because of that, that can be intimidating or scary to think about, oh gosh, what's next? And what I can say to that is, having gone through a lot of change myself, and I've lived in a lot of different places, that there is a adjustment period, no matter what it is that you are looking at as far as change goes, and that every change can be broken down into really small steps. And what I'm seeing here, even though her feet are in a flower, what I'm seeing is fire. And I'm not sure why I'm feeling that. It's like holding your feet to the fire. And so I feel like something's going on that is kind of demanding your attention. So what would I do? From the manifesting standpoint, what I would suggest, Graham, is that you just sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and write down draw a line down the center of the paper. On the left-hand side, write everything that is working out okay right now. What is it that are the best parts of your life? And then over on the right-hand side, write a list of the things that are not so good. Even doing an audit like that can really take any kind of nervousness or anxiety out of you and putting it down on the paper. And then pick something that's not too difficult to do. Often what I will tell people is the smartest thing to do is, I've got you on the list, Shakti. The smartest thing to do is to declutter something, to clean out a closet or a drawer, your refrigerator, the freezer. But if you really are stuck, you know you need a change, but you don't know how to say goodbye to the old, the best way is to find a corner with some things that need to be thrown out or donated. This is a very fruitful way to get your juices rolling, okay? So if you have any questions about the readings, you'll find my contact information is in the description box. It's just an email where you can send me your story, let me know what's going on. Particularly if you feel like something you receive during these messages gives you a little bit of wisdom, that helps me know that I'm on the right track when I'm putting out these videos, okay? Another thing, I do really appreciate hitting the thumbs up. It lets Google know that people are watching and they can bring other people who like fairy readings, okay? So next we have, oh my goodness. Oh, Graham, thank you so much for letting me know that. And a lot of times when you do have somebody who is ill in your family, it causes you to reevaluate all your needs, right? And what's important. So just know that I'm sending you positive energy, Graham, and the other people watching. Just send Graham positive energy that he has the wisdom to know how to help his family as they go through all of this. So bless your heart. Okay, so next we're going to go down to Sandra. Sandra, welcome back. And let's see what the fairies have for Sandra today. And with Graham, I think too, you guys can see that when we're looking for love messages, it's not always romantic love. In fact, many times it's not romantic love. It's there's been some sort of heartbreak or betrayal in the family of origin, and sometimes, or even this, a betrayal with somebody getting sick, kind of. I mean, it isn't fair when disease happens, and it can be looked at as a betrayal. Sometimes people can get angry with God because somebody got sick and feel betrayed. Isn't that strange? So tender energy here today. Sandra, let's see. Okay, so Sandra, we have do some research, and it's saying to you, you need more information about this situation. Look further before proceeding. So when it comes, now the whole, our theme of today is love. The fairies picked it. You're welcome, Graham. But what's showing me, what it looks like here, Sandra, is that you've been kind of sitting on the fence for a while. You've been considering a major decision. And the tip that I gave to Graham about writing things down on a list is so helpful. On one side of the list, write the things about this decision that are positive or need to be followed up on. And then on the other side, write down the things that are not important. Hi, Valerie. I'm glad you're here early today. I'm sorry. Last week I lost my signal, didn't I? And there were several people waiting, so my apologies for that. But Sandra, this is showing me that you do feel most comfortable when things are in order. And you've been burning the nighttime with a lot of mental energy. So you may be losing sleep. And that's not ever good because sleep is a good thing. I think that the research that you're doing has been good, but you may need to talk to somebody, talk to some sort of expert in the area, because I have a sense that your research is kind of leading you in circles. You don't know which book to look into. So I would say, Sandra, don't be afraid of reaching out to an expert in the area. There even are professional organizations where they offer free advice. I'm not sure where you live, but you can check with your government agencies in the town that you're in, because there may be legal advice, medical advice, house advice that you don't have to pay for, okay? Because doing research does not necessarily mean, hi Eve, doing research doesn't mean necessarily that you need to pay for it. Hi, Jessica, I'll put you on the list. But it does seem to me that with your personality type, that you're going to feel better if you have a little bit more research under your belt before you make this decision. Also, Oprah is famous for saying, when in doubt, don't. And so it may be that you just you need to let more time go by before you reach that conclusion. Okay, Eve, yes, I saw you. I'm putting your name on the list as we go forward. Be sure to add that thumbs up Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber yet. Hi, Ruen. I think I'm saying your name correctly, writing your name down on the list. And welcome, welcome to our fairy reading day. I'm Catherine, and this is Fish Out of Water Tarot. So if you feel like a fish out of water in your life, welcome to my world. And today we're taking a peek into the fairy cards. You're welcome, Sandra. Remember, if you want to reach out, my contact information is in the description box. I love getting emails from you guys. Thank you. Now, I will let you know that I do have a contest for free readings this week. And so what is happening is that I have something new on my table from last week. So you may have to go look at last week's reading to know what's new. But if you email me and let me know what's new on my table, I will be giving free readings out to the people that notice and can tell me. Okay, so all of the email information is in the description box below. Next, we have R. Fleming. Hi, R. Fleming. I remember, I think last time you told me your name, but I think maybe Anne, not sure. But R. Fleming, this is your card. If you're just joining us, welcome. Please let me know what your name is, and I'm happy to draw a card for you from our angel deck. Okay, and R. Fleming, what a wonderful card this is. Everything's okay. This, Rhonda. Oh, yes, Rhonda. Let me put that down, the Rhonda. Every little thing is going to be okay. This reminds me of Bob Marley, Don't Worry About a Thing. Every little thing's gonna be all right. I think we all could listen to that song 25 times a day. In fact, I rarely sing it to myself without getting goosebumps. Also, another one is Don't Worry, Be Happy. So I feel like what's happening right now is that there's something working out for you, Rhonda, that you can't see. It's like having something in the oven where it says, don't open the oven because, oh my gosh, and I'm singing in front of you. I'm so embarrassed. I just bumped my camera. That's so funny, though. Honestly, what I'm finding in doing my own readings, is just following my own heart. And it's just that song gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. So I feel like whatever's going on for you, the universe is very aware. The fairies want you to know, good grief, look at surrender, 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 surrender. Your hands are up in the air. You feel like you've done everything you can do. And so what I'm aware of in this picture is that as she has her hands up, what's happening, thank you guys. Jahan, welcome. Thank you guys. I feel the love, totally. When your hands are up, you're uncovering your heart. Imagine if this figure had her hands in front of that light, right? So that her hands are in front of her, just resting on her chest. But the fact that she's open means that her light is shining brightly. So I would say that if there's something going on, Rhonda, right now that's making you feel disenchanted or disappointed in some way, that you would take time to remind yourself that every little thing's going to be okay. There's no denying that music is an instantaneous mood changer, and especially with you as a vocalist, you know that. But I feel like there's so much coming. Look at the flowers. Spring is here in the place where I'm living right now. Something new is blooming every day. So for sure, take this to heart, Rhonda. Everything is going to be okay. We need to remind ourselves that there's seed time and harvest. And if something's developing, it's developing. Find something that's ripe and put your focus there, okay? I hope that made sense to you. I just did a reading this week for somebody that's new, a new client of mine, and it's my monthly program. And I just love it so much because what happens is you get a monthly reading that's kind of like a manifesting plan for the month. And then I send you personalized daily cards Monday through Friday into your messenger or your WhatsApp. So you get a month's worth of readings and the little bitty readings. I hope you guys are following me on the daily card, which I put out there for the collective. But when you do readings like this, you really don't know how the person is receiving it. And the person who received the readings wrote to me and told me some details about what was going on for her that I could not have known. And I really appreciate that because it helps me continue believing in the power of the imagination, of the energetic connection between us, and of the cards and the beautiful art on these cards. Okay, so let's go forward. If you're having fun, please hit the thumbs up, tell your friends. And next we have Shakti. Shakti, welcome. Thank you so much for being here a couple of weeks in a row, Shakti. I'm glad that you're here to be able to receive this message. And let's see, let's pick a card here. Okay, and we have healing, healed, and healer. Okay, let's take a look at this. First of all, the color is got my attention, this beautiful deep purple. Purple is a color of royalty. It's a color of spirituality. And in a way, it reminds me of, like, I'm thinking about the Knights of the Round Table in British history and how the king or the queen would use a sword to knight a follower to be raised up to a role of protector and a role of like assistant, right? That the knight would assist the king. So I'm seeing that imagery here, and I feel like you, Shakti, you haven't realized yet what your full calling is. There's no question that, I mean, I bet you're a person that people come up to you all the time and start telling you their troubles. You might be sitting at the bus stop and somebody sits down and starts talking to you about their husband that just cheated, right? Or you're walking through the market and you see someone crying and you know something inside of you knows what's going on with that person. And I know when I was younger, these kinds of things really bothered me. Well, they bothered me because I felt bad. Like I would feel the sadness of someone or I would feel the anger of someone and I didn't know it wasn't mine. I don't know if that sounds strange to you. It is kind of strange to realize that when you feel emotional upset, it might not be yours. So I feel like the universe is calling you to look into this, accept your gifts. Look for places in your city, in your town, where you can gather with people who believe like you do. It's important to share your spiritual gifts with people who understand. If sometimes your family is not the ones who understand first, right? But just being able to accept your gifts and accept that the universe has a plan for you, I think is going to bring you a lot of peace this week. Also, don't be surprised if you don't find a book or a website or something that's brand new for you and gives you some insight into life as a healer, okay? Oh, one other thing from a coaching perspective, Louise Hay, I recommend her every single week. Her work with the inner child is one of my favorites, but anything you can listen to with Louise Hay, she's such a valid teacher, and I think that it will give you some encouragement. Okay, Shakti? And again, this when it comes to love, how does a message on being a healer fit here? What kind of love is it talking about? Well, when you have gifts of healing and you want to help other people, sometimes you need to have very clear boundaries around yourself because you can't take everybody home. You can't bring everyone home and cook a meal for them. You must be able to stay in your lane as a healer so that you can offer your service, give advice when needed, but also be able to say no and have your time by yourself where you're not available to everyone. So in the healing work, a lot of times it's self-love that the fairies are really asking you to study while you're getting ready for your healing mission. Okay, so let's move. Let me have a sip of coffee with y'all. Somebody gave me a French press coffee maker, and what a sweet gift. Sometimes it's so beautiful how this happens, where somebody will give you something that you really enjoy, but nobody knew it. So it's like the secret little language from the universe with, here, how would you like this? Thank you. Coffee tastes better this way. So don't overlook the little bitty blessings. Okay, let's see who's next. We have Valerie. Valerie, I'm so glad you're here today because last week I got cut off before it was your turn, so I'm glad you're here. If you've just joined me, I'm Catherine. This is Fish Out of Water Tarot, especially for people that feel a little bit socially awkward and shy. I'm your girl. I speak your language. If you're interested in private readings, I still am doing private readings, and you can find the information in the description box below. So Valerie, let's take a peek. What do the fairies have for you? I think that this is very cool today because my dogs are not barking. Somebody just drove up and parked and they're so peaceful. So thank you, fairies, for keeping my dogs calm today. And let's see what we have. Ooh, V for Valerie, V for vegetarian. A new way of eating gives you more energy, greater health, clarity, and stronger manifesting abilities. Could that be true? Now that's a challenge. Valerie, I don't know if you've got the kind of personality that loves a good challenge, where you feel you don't like to be told what to do. That's the opposite of you. You like to pick your own way and you like to be in charge of you. But this card seems to have a little bit of a personal challenge in it. I love the green. The green of the card, it speaks of the heart chakra. So it does look to me like there's a bit of, I'm going to call it like a miscommunication or an incomplete communication between you and your body. That for whatever reason, this card makes itself known right now. I'm aware of these purple flowers here that are growing on this vine and the white, because those are spiritual colors. So I feel like the universe is just asking you to try a week of vegetarianism. With any luck at all, you've already been thinking about this, and this is confirmation. If this is brand new, hi Kieran, I'll put you on the list. Thank you. So I would say that I definitely would take this on as a challenge. If it feels really weird to you and it's something out of left field, then just do it for 3 days. You know, I just feel like there's something going on with a spiritual message that's trying to break through, and there's something around your diet that's holding you in a sense of disarray. Okay, so as you go forward this week, and please come back next week and let me know how it goes. A lot of times, if you feel resistance, if the idea of not eating meat is a trigger for you, it's good. I've been doing some personal research about triggers and things that make us feel uncomfortable. And of course, you guys know I love Abraham Hicks. Please write that down. Abraham Hicks. If you're not familiar, you want to learn about them. They have a gazillion YouTube videos. Pick any one. In fact, Valerie, what I would do is put in the YouTube search window Abraham Hicks vegetarianism, see what they have to say about it. But I think it's more of a personal challenge just to feel like you can be master of your body. Okay, so do me a favor, check that out, and be sure to write to me if this has special significance to you, okay? My contact information is in the description box. Okay, let me just grab a sip of coffee. Okay, and let's see who's next. Eve. Good morning, Eve. Morning at my time of the world, my place in the world. I am in the States. I'm in Tennessee. I've only been here for a few months. I'm so glad that you were able to get that message, Shakti. Moved back to the States after spending a few years in Mexico, where I lived in such an opposite culture than the States, and it changed me in so many ways. And I still miss parts of my experience in Mexico, and I really fell in love with the land there for sure. And even here in Tennessee, I'm so comfortable with nature that that's what's helping me to feel at home. Yesterday, I had a hummingbird visit my hummingbird feeder here in Tennessee, and it made my heart so happy because I fed the hummingbirds in Mexico. And so it feels like a connect. And I think that in this world today, we have to definitely take the tiniest little evidence of divine intervention and divine participation in our lives, right? Otherwise, it can be really difficult to keep a positive mental attitude, which the fairies, of course, want us to do. Oh, by the way, I have to remind myself because the fairies are about playfulness. And so, Valerie, one more tip for you, Valerie. I would go to YouTube and I would, or Pinterest, and search for ways to make vegetarianism fun or playful vegetarian ideas because moms that create vegetarian meals for their kids can be quite creative about it. And there's something about playfulness that the universe wants us to remember. Okay, so now we are going to Eve. Eve, welcome. I'm glad you're back. And we have practice, practice, practice. This makes me think of Rhonda, if she's still here, because being a musician or an athlete, you know the reality of practice, practice, practice. And so, what I'm seeing here, and especially in the area of love, is that Eve, you may be one of the shyer types of personality, that it is when you need to go out in public or out into a group, that it just doesn't feel good at all. And I have a heart for that. I kind of have the same situation. Yesterday was a really good example. I had been invited to go to a outdoor festival and it just didn't feel right. And I have to push myself because I am shy. It's way more comfortable to me to be reading this card where I don't even know Eve than it is for me to go to certain social situations. I've learned over time it's because of being sensitive, that I am a highly sensitive person, and that loud noises and people who are acting out, being in a crowd, all of those things drain me. They make me feel less than complete. And so when I was younger, I used to blame the other people. I say, well, it was because of them that I feel this way. But now I realize not so much. It's because I get drained quickly if I'm in a stimulating environment, okay? So Eve, I want you to realize that by practicing, you can get better at your social life, okay? And there are ways to wiggle out of being too shy. Now, how do you know if you're being too shy? Well, it's because you get kind of tired of being at home. You feel kind of a dissatisfaction. Whereas I love living alone. I've been single quite a few years right now, and I love dating and I love being with men because I'm hetero, but I prefer my own company and my dogs because that's where I'm at in my life right now. Could it change tomorrow? Of course. We can change anything. But I want to have a playful, fun attitude in my life. Where I know I need to get out with people is if I'm not having fun or I'm not having playful times. Eve, my most friendly place outside of my apartment is nature. So make sure you're taking walks. Make sure you're getting to parks, get near water, and then just practice being friendly to the people that you walk by. Put a smile on your face and just nod at other humans, right? Practice, practice, practice. Don't be worried about taking baby steps. There may be a community in your town that you could get connected to. Some people go to various churches or social groups, classes, take an art class. Do things that put you out there at a way that you can handle. It's hard when you're really shy. One thing you can do, and for those of you who are listening, if you've never heard of HSP, highly sensitive person, HSP, you can Google that, and there are blog posts about that very thing, that there are people who have a difficult time when they're in public because their bodies and their minds are overstimulated. So take a look at that, Eve. It may give you some ideas, okay? But remember, when it comes to practicing loving gestures or being with people, it's itty bitty baby steps make the big difference, okay? Another thing that I heard someone say, I love the idea of looking back in time to when you were young, when you were under 10 years old, and think to yourself, Bella, and think to yourself, what did you do for fun when you were really young? for me, coloring is something that I did as a child and I can do now. And I actually have a coloring book that is a tarot coloring book. I love it. It's by Teresa Reed. And I've got a lot finished, but a lot isn't finished. And I need to remind myself that coloring is such a good way to access that childlike part of myself. Okay, so let's move on. And we have Jessica, and then we have Wen and Jahan and Kieran. If I have not called your name, it's because I didn't see. So write it into the comments and I'll draw you a card. You're welcome, Eve. Those of you who want to reach out and let me know what's going on, don't forget to email me. I love to hear from you guys. And the email address is tarotinfoplease@gmail.com. Also, there is, oh, do you use coloring books? Oh, I love that, Graham. Now, every time I color, I'll be having a moment of saying, across the world, somebody is being playful with crayons, and I know who it is. I did offer a free reading today, a free little reading. It's like a 3-card reading, just an energy selfie that I take. And how to win the reading is you have to let me know what is new on my table. And in order to do that, you have to check out last week's reading so you can see. If you were on last week's reading, you might know already. Email me and you will get your reading. So, Jessica, let's draw a fairy card for you. Jessica, I don't know that you've been here before. I don't remember. So if you're new, welcome. I'm so glad that you're able to come. And let's see here. Okay, we have Autumn. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, Jessica, I just love this. Again, we have another green card. And so for me, the green is kind of a self-loving card. It's the heart chakra. And always, when it comes to love, being attentive to your own needs for yourself as a human is always the first step. There's a picture about a tightrope walker. You know, in the circus, how they can have a tightrope walker where there's two beams solid in the ground, and then there's a line between them where they can walk and keep their balance. And that's a great metaphor for a good, healthy relationship where there's two people strong in their own sense of themselves, strong in their sense of identity, strong in their responsibility for their life. We can't be responsible for the things that happen to us. Conditions happen, but we can be responsible for how we react to them, how we respond. And so on that tightrope, the metaphor is that if the two beams that are holding the rope up, if they're leaned into each other, if they're not standing upright, the rope, the tightrope, sags and becomes nearly impossible to walk on. So the rope signifies the relationship. And so when you're building to have a solid relationship, you want to be able to ground yourself so that you can support yourself and the relationship. And you want your partner the same way. You want your partner to be able to support themselves. Do we need each other? Yes. Do we love each other? Of course. But we must be grounded in our own identity, or the other person's needs can become overwhelming. So when I'm looking at this card, I see her holding that little being in her hand. And I feel like for you, Jessica, there's a part of you that's undeveloped. Okay, perhaps a bit naive. There's a part of you that needs to grow up before you're going to feel the groundedness you need to hold a relationship together. Okay, so I love, look how it's in a way the playfulness that I'm feeling in the reading today strikes me here, because I see this as a young teen who is just enchanted with this miniature fairy or this doll or this figure, and that there's so much love. Also, look at the glow that's coming out of this little figure. So, Jessica, what I would suggest for you is look at the next 6 to 8 months as formative, as important for you, that the seeds that you plant right now at the beginning of summer, that by time autumn comes, that you're going to feel a sense of achievement, that you're going to feel that you've brought something out from your inner self into a more mature state. What strikes me is in the arts, if you're somebody who used to draw or used to sing or used to play an instrument, go that direction. Develop something, a skill that you haven't used since you were a child. But I do feel that there's going to be a balance coming for you in the next 6 months or so, where you're just going to feel more capable and more competent when it comes to supporting love in your relationships, okay? That was very direct message. Also, listen, if you guys hear a message and it sounds like you, and you're like, wait a second, Jessica's situation sounds exactly like mine, don't be surprised at that. These readings, hi Preeti, welcome. These readings for the collective, when it started to happen to me, when I began to hear these very personal messages in a general reading like this, I didn't understand it. Welcome, Preeti. Thank you. I love you too. Preeti's been coming back for weeks and weeks, so welcome. I really feel the love, you guys. I know that you're all busy and your lives are going, but when you stop by to get a word of encouragement, I know I'm doing the right things, what I want to be doing. And so I wish that for you too, that you find that something that's separate from other people, but that feeds your soul. It just helps keep things in balance, okay? So let's go forward here, and we're going to Raven next. Tarot Destroyer, hi Tarot Destroyer. Okay, let's go with Ren. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Let's take a peek. Oh, this is a good card. Assertiveness. Stand up for your beliefs and only say yes if you really want to. Okay, so let's take a look here. This reminds me of the Tower card. And I love the Tower card. I use the Lightseers Tarot, and this reminds me of that card for some reason. And because when things come apart, it's a good thing. I think about caterpillars and cocoons. Caterpillars have to go through a pretty drastic change in that cocoon to become a butterfly. In a way, you can look at it like assertiveness, because life is assertive. You know, life brings you from stage to stage. There's losses, there are things that happen as we mature that are seemingly unfair. I can think of times when you lose your job, or somebody moves, or you move, or some people move to a different country and they're not with their family anymore. And there's this big upheaval. And then assertiveness can hide, because if you feel like you've made a mistake or that something's off, often, especially if you're a highly sensitive person or you're someone who's a bit socially awkward, like I am, you can stop and just wait and kind of look at your surroundings and try to decide what to do. If you're new somewhere, it can be hard to be assertive because you don't want to be misinterpreted. You don't want for somebody to think you are having a bad motivation. And yet, we must be assertive to take care of our own needs. So, Ron, what I feel is happening is that whatever change has just happened has kind of shook you up a little bit. You're just not sure. And you're kind. You're a kind person, and you don't want to hurt people's feelings. However, you have to stand up for yourself if something's not right. So, I like to compare it to the freeway, and how, imagine if you were driving down the highway and there were no lane markers. It was like 5 lanes of traffic, all choosing their own way to go. It would be a mess. So think of yourself on a road where you just need to stay in your lane. If somebody comes into your lane and they disturb your peace of mind, having a way of saying, hang on a second, let's dial it back a little bit. You know, finding a way to say, hold up, that's just not working for me. Hang on a second, let me catch my breath. A lot of times you can just take a bathroom break. I'm not even kidding. You say, excuse me, I have to use the bathroom. No kidding. And you can walk out of a situation. Let's agree to disagree is another statement that can be really helpful. Let's agree to disagree right now. Another thing, I can tell you're feeling very strongly about this right now. Let's just take a time out and cool down. There's a book that's called Getting Past No. It's an excellent book, Getting Past No, and the author's name is William Ury, U-R-Y. He writes a book called Getting to Yes, but that's not as good. But his advice for getting past no, for being able to assert yourself with a strong personality is absolutely outstanding. I recommend it to anybody on the call, especially if you have felt shy about standing up for yourself, okay? It's just a matter of skills. But it's so important. If you don't stand up for yourself, you will feel frozen in place, okay? Okay, let me go forward here, and we're moving on to Jahan. Jahan, welcome to the call this week, and let's see what the fairies have for you. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Ren. I hope that that message was helpful for you. Bless your heart. Okay, so we are looking at, this is Jahan. Welcome, Jahan. Let me get my, okay, I had to take a little break. Oops. Okay, let's see. Uh-oh. Oh, very interesting. And that iris. Okay, iris with crystals. Okay, so irises have been appearing a lot in my life right now. It's spring, so I know they're going to be growing, but I would like for you, Shahan, would you Google the spiritual meaning of iris? Okay, that's going to be one of your little homeworks to do. A lot of times with an animal or a plant that's crossing your path a lot, you can Google it, and the native or Aboriginal people from around the world had spiritual meaning behind tons of animals and crystals and everything. And I think something, there he is, Mr. Murphy. Murphy, no, shh. Hold on just for a second, you guys. I have my secret weapon, Murphy. I have a squirt gun, and I squirt him when he barks, and then he behaves himself. Good boy, Murphy. Good boy. Okay, so anyway, back over here. And where are we? Oh, yes, with the get some exercise. Okay, so the first thing is with checking out iris in the in Google and see what the spiritual meaning is. Also, the fact that this is a black iris. So I feel like what's happening is that your shadow side, everybody has a shadow side to their personality. We all do. If you guys want to have some fun, go look up a guy named Astrology Guy on YouTube for his astrology teachings. He's fantastic. He is the person I go to see the shadow side of Scorpio. It's not easy to see the shadow side of Scorpio because I can be as snarky as anyone. And I don't like that part of myself. However, acknowledging it and finding balance with it has been helpful for me in my relationships. Why is exercise connected? Because exercise is a way that you move fluids through your body. Okay, when you are moving, there's the fluid in your body is moving in a different way. When you're sitting, it's resting. And so when the fluids are moving in your body, you're moving out toxic chemistry. I am not a chemist or not a biologist, but what I am is an observer of people's behavior over time. And what's true is that certain personalities, if they don't move their bodies enough, they are just fucking cranky. I'm sorry, but they are. And if you're living with one of those people, you know that I'm telling you the truth. And the fact is, most spiritual people that come to me can all use more time outside because our bodies are made to create these chemicals to help, we feel sad. Why do you think you feel sad? Just because your mind thinks I want to be sad? No, there's chemistry that goes on in your body that causes your throat to close, and it causes tears to come. It causes memories to come back. So sadness has a place. But if you don't get enough body exercise, it can just stagnate inside of you. Okay, so I feel that, Jahan, this week, it's real important for you to be like, what do you call it? Like a guardian of your own mood. A guardian of your own mood. And this goes for everyone that's hearing me. If your mood goes down, get your rear end outside. Just take a quick walk down the hall, a walk around your building, but move the fluids in your body so that you can hear clearly what the next step is, okay? I know that here in Tennessee, I walked a lot in Mexico. I had just beautiful place to walk, and I had a huge garden, and oh man, don't get me started. But here, it's like nature is my garden. I can practically throw a stone to the woods I'm looking at right now. In fact, I wonder if I can pull this up. I wonder if you can see it out there. Yeah, okay, see the woods across my parking lot? I mean, I can just go right inside of there, and it's magical for me. Now, you may not be a person that enjoys the woods. You may be a person that thrives if you're next to water. Well, there's rivers and lakes wherever you live. The fact is that we hold ourselves back when we don't get outside and move our bodies. Remember, when you move, the fluid moves in your body, and that's enough for you to know. Thank you, Kieran. Also, yoga, so important. I don't do yoga enough because it's not as active as as walking outside, which I love. But the cool thing about yoga is that when you fold your body and you hold a position, when you release your body from that position, what happens? The fluids move. And that is what helps lift your spirit, besides the fact that there is a spiritual aspect to yoga that can't be described. Okay, so thank you for tuning in, Jahan, and let me know next week, will you, how this goes? And you guys do email me. I'm dead serious. I love hearing from you and hearing a little bit more about your stories. I can't keep up with the comments on here very well because I'm focused on the cards, but know that I'm loving these comments. Thank you for writing along with me. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And let's see, now Kieran, you've been so patient. Thank you for that. And let's see what we have for Kieran. Very interesting cards today, Kieran. Knock, knock, knock on the door. Okay, let's take a look here. Improve your diet and your life will also improve. So, what strikes me are those pansies, those 3 pansies that are at the top, and how often fairy energy is connected with flowers, right? So the first thing that I'm wanting is for you to Google or YouTube search for the spiritual meaning of pansy. See if there is a spiritual use for that flower. I think that would be an interesting experiment. But also, what I'm aware of here is the delicacy of this meal. And I'm seeing as this card is not so much the food. I'm not seeing this as a reading about food. What I'm seeing is a reading about the setting. And that I feel like for you right now, I feel the universe is calling you to be a bit more mindful about the setting that you're using when you eat. I kind of feel this resonance with myself too, because I eat standing. I don't take time to set a table very often. I kind of eat on the run. And I'm feeling that the fairies in my tummy just growled right now. But I feel what the delicacy of these sweet fairies are calling us to today is to pay attention to our setting. Can you set a table that looks like an art piece? Can you take the time to use a placemat, to put a flower on the table, to light a candle? Can you take time to honor the way food comes to you, the way you haven't been for a while? I think that this kind of dietary change, this creating art out of your meals, has something special for you. I don't know what that's about, Kieran, but I feel like the food choices for you this week, and please come back next week or write to me and let me know what this is about. But there's something around your surroundings that's more important than your food. Okay, not quite sure what that could mean for you. Let me look and see. Oh, yes, the other thing is, what strikes me is the companion. So I think that another thing about dietary change for you this week, Kieran, could be in inviting somebody to share this picture perfect meal with you, even if it is just tea and crumpets. But the idea of creating an artful use of your mealtime and to incorporate companionship in it. You know what, you guys, these messages are so specific. I always, when I do readings like this for the collective, it entertains me to no end. The cards do all the work, as I've said time and time again. And if you're curious about having personal readings, I would love to invite you to contact me. Imagine, if you will, drawing 9 cards for you, right? All for you, and being able to give you the kind of direction that that I cannot do on this style reading. So let me sip coffee. Yummy. Thank you to Vicky, who gave me my French press. Priti, you're here. I'm so grateful. Priti is such a fan. I appreciate so much the love, and takes time to comment on my YouTube videos that I post, and I really appreciate that. You guys have no idea. It's a mystery what happens with these readings, and who will listen, who will hear it, who will make a decision to take care of themselves a little bit better because of these readings. And you guys are all a part of it. So gracias, gracias, thank you. And how do you say thank you in your native languages? That would be cool if you guys would write in your native language what thank you, how to say it. I mean, just or what it looks like, because I would love that. You are welcome. Oh, you're welcome, Kieran. I'm glad that you could, that the whole thing about the festive way of eating and taking that moment. I mean, I do here on my table, decorating my table brings me so much joy. And those of you might have heard, I will repeat myself, that I am giving away a free reading to anyone who notices what's different about my table this week from last week. All you have to do is email me and tell me what's different, and I'll let you know if you win a reading. Okay? So, Preeti, let's draw a card. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's great. Okay, this is a good one for you, my friend. This is a good one. I feel like this, again, we are seeing the imagery here with these fairies that reminds us of children, okay? And earlier in the reading, I don't know if you were here during that part, Preeti, I mentioned that the Six of Cups energy around these readings today about our theme was for love life, interestingly. But what's coming out in all of the cards is self-love, which I think is such an anchor. You know how an anchor holds a ship in place? I feel the same way with self-love. If your self-love is strong, Bella, stop. Everybody send Bella energy, please. She has a hot spot on her tail, and I need to help her not lick it. Good girl. So everyone send Bella love. Thank you, everyone. Okay. At any rate, when you're able to anchor yourself in your spiritual identity, in who you were created to be, that's when you get the best ideas. That manifestation is mostly about ideas and acting on the ideas. And some of the things that can separate us from, thank you, Bella, Graham says, big hug. Here, let me just show you. There she is, sweet thing, Bella. Okay. And Murphy's here somewhere, he's my barker. Oops, sorry, you guys, I make you dizzy with my changing. Okay. Um, without enough self-love, your mood can drop. With a lot of self-love, self-confidence grows. And so, because of the need for confidence in any decisions that you're making, a lot of times we do have to revisit the times of our childhood that hurt our feelings. This can be a big life change because it's not about blaming our childhood or blaming people. It's just about forgiving what happened, accepting what happened, and realizing that as an adult you can react differently. Okay, so you have the power to do what you need to do right now, Preeti, for sure. Right now, with the abilities that you have, you can solve the situation that's facing you, okay? If you feel insecure, then it's important to tell yourself the truth. Right now, I'm actually working on a deck of cards, you guys. Can you believe it? I wanted to put my thoughts into card form because I wanted to teach people about using even though, those two words, even though, because they're so powerful. Because if you are in a place where you're not sure what to do and you don't think you have enough power, you can feel really helpless, and that can hurt. So, using the word even though, let's create a couple of intentions that would help you, or if you were facing a difficult problem. And so, even though I'm not sure what to do, the truth is, I have figured out a lot of things in the past, and I can do it again. Even though a part of me feels insecure, another part of me trusts my divine connection to help me figure it out. Even though I am feeling ill equipped, even though I'm not ready, there's a part of me that knows I'll never be 100% ready. That's a good one. Even though I want so much to feel more powerful, I realize that it's a process and that I'm making baby steps. See how those even those can kind of bring up your insecurity and then even it out. This is something that I help people with in readings. And so if this rings a bell and you wish you had some even those statements that would work for you, be sure to email me, okay? And also, I'm going to have the cards for people to take a look at soon. Probably next Sunday, I'll have an announcement about that, because I just need people to take a look at the cards and see what they think. And if you guys would help me out, that would be awesome, okay? So plan on coming next week, and I'll give you more details on that. Okay, so Tarot Destroyer, number 87, I wonder if you're still here, but it's such an interesting name. So I want to draw a card. Okay, this has been such an interesting group of cards that have come forward today, hasn't it, you guys? I mean, each and every one of them. Again, the Love Life card came out, but my gut feeling is it's about growing ourselves. Gusta. Yes, you may have a card. Let me write it down. Gusta. Even though I feel many people that hear the reading want to have a partnership, that's part, maybe they wish to have a partner and it's not happening, or maybe you have a partner and you're not feeling as close as you wish. But the energy of the cards is all about getting anchored in your own identity with you and the divine. There are many people that come to my readings who've had disappointments in love. If that's you, be sure to check out breakupcandy.com. That's the blog where I house a lot of articles about heartbreak and breakup, and you can go over there and take a peek, breakupcandy.com. But for this reading, what I'm seeing is that the idea of getting back to your core desire. Okay, this is a cool little thing, Tarot Destroyer. I think there's two different kinds of desires. There's a core desire and there's a formed desire. Core desires are knit into our being. A lot of time, there's people that are really better off being single. They're put on this planet, they thrive by themselves, but culture makes them believe they need to be in a partnership. And some of those people spend a lifetime with frustration sharing a household with somebody. You can be as social as you want, but some people are simply better off living with animals or living by themselves, and there's no problem with that. So if you want to have a solitary life, you need to be able to ask for that and trust that you will attract people who get it and want to be part of that with you. There's definitely what I call parallel living that works for some people. So sometimes your core desire, what you're born with as you enter the planet, is the desire for autonomy, to be on your own. That's a core desire. Now, a formed desire is something that happens when you watch a lot of manifesting tapes, your videos, you read a lot of manifesting books, you know who Abraham Hicks is, you know other experts that have been teaching you about manifesting, and they teach that you can have whatever you want. And so sometimes we can form a desire within us that's not really at our best, it's not our core. But a formed desire can feel so real that we choose it. I always use the Tesla example here, like you want to have a Tesla. Okay, great. But do you want to have a Tesla or do you want to have the payments for a Tesla? Look at how my camera's going back and forth here. Let's see if I can make it stop that. Because wealth and owning something that's very expensive has a lot of baggage attached to it. And so sometimes if you want the six-figure income, the new car, the job, and all of that, and that's looking good to you, if it's your core desire, it will feel really good to you. But if it's a formed desire, you always feel like you can't measure up. Okay, so Tarot Destroyer, what I'm seeing here is that you do need to be honest with yourself. I love what Louise Hay teaches about the mirror technique. So you definitely, if you don't know of that, look it up. It's fantastic. And the whole idea of looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself what it is that you're wanting. If what you're wanting is a formed desire, it will feel a little bit off. When you look yourself in the eye, it's like you feel like you have to talk yourself into the belief. If it's a core desire, when you look yourself in the eye in the mirror and it's a core desire, you will feel a sense of yes. There's a guy by the name of Stutz, S-T-U-T-S or Z. There's a documentary on Netflix, and he's very good. He's a psychologist, and he talks about deep inside of everyone is a river of yes. Don't you love that? Deep inside is a river of yes. When you have a core desire, you're in that river. So how can we say this? Let's say you do want to have a Tesla. Great. And you're saying, after you look yourself in the mirror and you say to yourself, I am 100% confident that I have the magnetism to attract a Tesla, okay? And then judge how it feels. If you feel that kind of a wiggle of, oh, brother, I hope that's true, then just shift it to something else. I'm 100% confident that I can improve my frequency, that I can work on my magnetism and attract exactly what I want. Even though I'm not sure about the Tesla, the truth is I have attracted some very real things into my life, and I know magnetism works. So as you work with your affirmation, make sure that it echoes into that river of yes that you sense deep inside, okay? And don't be ever afraid of asking for what you want. Excellent. And now we have Gausta. And if you're new here, thank you for being here. Hit the thumbs up. I'm Catherine. This is Fish Out of Water Tarot, and I'm here especially to encourage people who feel shy or who are maybe a little bit introverted, socially awkward. The list goes on. I'm one of those people, and I am grateful for everyone that enjoys these readings and wants to keep me company on a Sunday morning. So let me just pull out a card for Gausta. And man, we're having a repetitive theme with our cards today. Gausta, I don't know if you were here before when I was talking about how to move the body and get outside is kind of been a theme for this reading. So I take that to heart. What I'm aware of, first of all, is that she is sitting in a tree, and also that she's an adult. Many of the fairies that have shown up in the cards today have represented children, and I think that there's great benefit to revisiting childhood when you're doing this kind of work. I said earlier, Louise Hay is someone who, I'm seeing the camera go in and out there. Isn't that weird? I apologize for that. I don't know why that's happening. Okay, hang on a second. I'm just going to check a wire here. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Oh, I think that helped. Oh, good. Okay, so I was saying about many of the fairies that have shown up have been children, and I feel like Louise Hay's work on the inner child is so, so important for all of us to do right now. The world is unsteady and disappointing. And so the parts of us that were zoned out when we were children, when you're real little and you're playing outside and your mom calls you to come in and you don't want to, right? To being so engaged in something. And so this is showing me for you, Gausta, is that you are really, really ready to carry something from your childhood forward, that there is a maturity and that you have grown through something remarkable. Perhaps there was a large loss or something in the last year or so, and that you've had to face some things, but it's showing a maturity there. However, what it could be showing is that there's a part of you that's really missing your outdoor time, that the part of you that did mature through being outside, it was so natural, you didn't realize how important it was. So the first thing that this makes me want to say is go climb a tree. As I said earlier in for one of the other cards, that if you go to something that you did when you were under the age of 10, what kinds of things did you do that brought you a lot of joy and a lot of fun, pleasure, and to cycle back. Now I have energy, a lot of energy in my upper chest right now. And so I feel like for somebody on the call, you may be feeling that also. So go ahead and put your hand up on your upper chest and just press there if you're feeling pressure. So Gausta, it makes me wonder if you struggle to speak your truth, especially if you're talking to someone that you really love, that you may have difficulty knowing how to present something, because I'm just feeling all this blockage in my throat. So I would encourage you to, oh my gosh, Pansy, you found Pansy. Kieran, thank you. Email that to me, will you? Because I can't pick it up quick enough. That would be great. Okay, so there is a clue for you in being able to identify something important, Gausta. So what I want you to do is get out a piece of paper and a pencil, and I want you to write down, okay, this is a good one. This is good for everyone who's listening, for sure. Okay, so you want to take out a piece of paper and you want to write down 10 things that you're good at, 10 things that you're proud of that you accomplished, 10 skills that you have, but 10 things that are positive about you. Now, if you only get 2 things, then what you need is to ask a friend or a family member, somebody you trust, what they think you're good at. Okay, because writing a list of your own positive aspects, what's positive about you, is a good way to track down any stuck places. Okay, if you can't connect to anybody right now and you feel there's nobody that knows you well enough to know what your best talents are, there's kind of a trick. You can ask yourself, what, how do I put this? If you knew your gifts, what would they be? Okay, so jot that down. I don't know for sure what my gifts and talents and positives are. Okay, what if you did? What could they be? Start off with a list of 3 and then add every day. As you reflect on the things that you've survived and the things you're good at, you'll start to reconnect with your inner wisdom. Spending time outside is really important. Also, there's a man named Alan Watts. There's tons of YouTubes out there about him. He was a philosopher back in the 1960s. He became very famous for being able to explain simple things, or excuse me, complex things in simple ways. And I really enjoy him. Be sure to check my community page here, also the community tab, because a lot of times I will put into the community resources for you, okay? Because learning how to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, pull yourself up with your confidence so that you can move forward out of a stuck place is why a lot of people are drawn to manifesting literature, okay? Abraham Hicks is another resource that I love, and Louise Hay. Another, Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, D-Y-E-R. There are countless, I would say thousands, of YouTube videos with his voice also. So Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay are both guides from other times that thankfully, because of YouTube, you can listen to. And you will find that if you can pull those into your phone, go out and take a walk, put your headset in, and just let these old teachers give you the wisdom that you need. Okay? If you want to have a private reading, reach out. I love to do private readings. And as I told you guys earlier, I have a monthly program where you have a reading for the month and then you get your own daily card. So you get a month's worth of inspiration and then we have lots of contact. And it's surprisingly affordable. So reach out if that sounds interesting to you. Okay, anyone else on my list? I think I've got everybody, so if I have not called your name and you'd like a reading, go ahead and put your name into the comments and I'm happy to pull a card for you. And while we're waiting, I did this last week, oh, my voice is starting to go, so that might be a good sign that I'm supposed to go. Hold on. I'm going to pull one more card for a closing card for us from the fairies. And thank the fairies so much. They had a lot of very interesting self-care messages for us all. And I imagine that everybody who was on the call could get a little bit of something out of every single card. So fairies, what is our goodbye? Spring, love it. Thank you. I love this. What a beautiful card for us. It is spring here in my part of the world, and so I appreciate that the fairies are with us right now at this time of blooming. So, bye, Graham. Have a beautiful day, and have a good day at work. I hope everything goes well for you this week. So, this speaks to me about, what did I just listen to? Hold on, I have to think. I was listening to it yesterday. I think it might have been Alan Watts, but I was listening to a recording that said that the you that you wake up as this morning is not the same you that goes to bed. That we are constantly changing, not only biologically, because we shed cells and we're constantly regenerating body cells that are building our body parts, but also that our mindset is different, and that in any moment we can birth a new dream or take a new step or change the direction of our life. And so this idea, the freshness of spring, how precious it is when something grows out of nothing, is really so hopeful for us. And remember that something manifests every minute, and that as you are looking around your world today, and I'm going to go over to that woods across the parking lot, and I'm going to walk and enjoy that today, that the little plants and the flowers that are blooming today were not blooming yesterday. And nature has this wonderful cycle: seed time, growth, beauty, and then decay. And so the things that we've manifested in our life right now today, which if it's in the love arena and you're feeling like you want to manifest something new in love, remember that you're not the same person as you were when this reading started 81 minutes ago. I'm not the same person. I'm constantly renewed, and by my focus of keeping my mind set on what it is that I'm wanting to see, I can see my singleness and the fact that if I had someone to go for a walk with, it would open a door of all kinds of pleasure. And I could start feeling lonely, and I could start feeling defeated because I don't have anyone. What's wrong with me? Why didn't, and all of a sudden my mind goes off into this terrible direction. Or I can go outside and I can take the time to look at the new flowers that are growing. I can walk around the block saying, even though I'm not sure who is the next person to impact my life, I know someone's coming. Even though I'm not sure who I will be sharing my next loving encounter with, the truth is, I am positive I'm going to meet someone I can enjoy. Even though I'm not sure how to go meet someone new, the truth is that it can happen in the blink of an eye. Even though I'm not sure how love will open in my life, the truth is I don't need to know how. See how those just switch me around, and I really need to guard against thoughts of doubt that what I'm growing by planting the seeds of my intentions are going to turn out to be exactly what I need them to be. So fairies, thank you, thank you, thank you. This looks like it looks kind of like a rose or maybe a peony. I love peonies, they're my favorite. But I love how tiny that little fairy is. She's so hopeful, and she's looking to that butterfly, and there's just an engagement going back and forth. So each and every one of us, let's go out and manifest ourselves a butterfly today. If you have not read Pam Grout's book, E Squared, please do. I read it in 2015. It changed my life completely. Pam Grout, E Squared. Thank you for spending this spring morning with me. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate all of your love and support. And if you're listening to this reading later, I hope I will still be giving away that gift reading. Maybe you'll win it. Take care now. Bye.